Good morning, everyone. This is Jason with the National Weather Service here in Peachtree City, Georgia. What we hope to do here today is talk a little bit about Hurricane Irma. We know there's a ton of information out there for you guys to weed through, and our hopes are that maybe we can streamline that information for you and tell you what's to be expected from a local perspective. So let's jump right into it. We're going to look here at the satellite imagery, and we can see a well-defined hurricane here, and this is Hurricane Irma. It is a Category 4 storm with winds 145 miles per hour. That's as of this recording, which is at 4 a.m. Now, this information on this Hurricane Irma is going to be updated by the National Hurricane Center soon, but we do anticipate it remaining a Category 4, which is a major hurricane. Important thing to remember here while we're showing you this satellite imagery is that it is well east of the islands in Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. And here's the southeast coast, so it's got quite a ways to go before it impacts any of the local area, but we still want to bring this up because it is time to prepare for this storm, and we'll let you know what those expectations are. But while I have you here, I did want to talk to you a little bit about what's going to be going on today. We do have a cold front that's going to be approaching the area from the north, and ahead of that cold front we're going to see some showers and thunderstorms develop right here over central Tennessee. And by the time we get to this afternoon, we're going to get just enough energy in the atmosphere to generate some pretty good thunderstorms just southeast of the Nashville area, and those are going to translate to the southeast, and then by late this afternoon entering into northwest Georgia. With these storms you can expect maybe some large hail with these storms, so some strong to isolated strong to severe storms with this activity, with hail being the primary concern with this. And as we watch this translate into the late afternoon and evening, it will approach the northern metro of Atlanta. You can see here late this afternoon into this evening. And again, we're still going to be expecting those strong to severe storms, but it will not be widespread, just isolated at this point. If we look over here, we can see from the Storm Prediction Center, right now they're just expecting a general thunder risk over the area with the marginal risk well to the north. But as I said before, I wouldn't be surprised anywhere in this northern tier if we see some hail threat, isolated strong to severe. So be on the lookout for that. As far as the rainfall goes, this is going to be a pretty quick hitting system, so not a lot of rainfall, but generally 3/4 to an inch over northwest Georgia, and then closer to a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch all the way to the northern metro. And this will take us through Wednesday morning. Additional rainfall thereafter across central Georgia, so be on the lookout for that as well. Let's shift gears and start talking a little bit more about Hurricane Irma. This is the official forecast track. Again, this forecast track will be changing, but we do have the storm again east of the islands, moving north to the Dominican and Cuba, and then somewhere here in the Florida Straits, maybe to the Keys. The trends have been earlier in the week for this storm to translate somewhere in the Atlantic and affect the Carolinas, but the trends have been more westward now, and so that really does concern us with this storm. But the question is going to be, does this storm go out into the Gulf? Does it go curve out to sea, or does it come up the spine of Florida? So let's take a look at those solutions. This is generally what we like to look at, and we call this a range of solutions. This is an ensemble model that gives us that range. If you were to have looked at this model yesterday, you would have seen storms that headed out into the Gulf, some that headed out into the Atlantic, and we still see that, but the range has tightened significantly, which gives us a little bit more confidence in the track of the storm. Still some variance as to where it's exactly going to go, but a lot of these track guidance are taking it across near the spine of Florida and then somewhere up into the Georgia area. So if we take a look at the shorter term guidance, this is the tight cluster here showing some high confidence of where this storm is going to track west-northwest, again somewhere Florida Straits there, and then where it goes we'll just have to see, but it's trending somewhere toward the state of Georgia, which concerns us, but we'll talk about that here in a second. So as far as the timing goes, here's the storm and some of the timing. This is important to note. We're not looking until Saturday morning for some of the main effects to maybe move into the Gulf or into Florida area here, so some 5 days away. And then we're not looking for our area until maybe Sunday night or Monday if the storm were to indeed affect the state of Georgia. So we have some time, but at the same time we would like everyone to use this time accordingly to prepare. So if we go back and look here, I'll show you why we're a little bit more concerned today than we have been. And that's because with this storm, I don't want you to focus on the exact track of this storm because this is just one model solution. Again, we could have one that goes in the Gulf or goes out in the Atlantic. But what I want you to focus on is we have high pressure building in during the day on Saturday into Sunday. And what that high pressure is going to do is pretty much ensure that whether we get an eastward moving, westward moving, or up the spine of Florida, we're going to have strong winds across the state of Georgia. That's pretty much a guarantee. So for those of you that were here during the early 2000s, when we had several hurricanes track up across Florida and Georgia during that time period, you'll remember that we had a similar high pressure, and that caused very strong winds across the area. Similar effects are expected with this one, and the concern with that would be that we've had saturated soils during the springtime. We're going to take down a lot of trees, and those trees usually take down power lines, so we could be looking at some significant power outages. So please prepare now for potential power outages, those trees coming down. You know, we're not sure about the winds and how strong they're going to be exactly, if we're going to have the tornado threat or the rainfall, but what we do want you to prepare for is at least the threat of some strong winds coming across the area and the potential for those power outages. So we'll have some updates for you with some later forecasts, but thank you for watching this for today.